G'day, my name is Gemma Carter, and I want to tell you a bit about my service learning adventure in Australia. As my life in high school came to a close this summer, I hardly expected to be spending my first semester of university in Australia. My last year at school was a blur and a blast. I have lived in Falmouth, Maine, a seaside town next to the major city of Portland, my whole life, and I never planned on traveling far to study. I hope to one day study abroad or travel abroad for a short time, just to increase my global perspective, but life as I knew it was restricted to New England. Boston has been among my favorite places for many years. I've been there to visit, explore, and see my sister who went to university near Boston. So when I was offered a place at Northeastern University through the NU In program, although hesitant at first, I finally decided that this was the right place for me. Boston, that is. I hardly knew what an amazing cultural experience the city of Melbourne was going to be. I figured if I wanted to study abroad at some point, why not do it now, before I settled into my life on the Boston campus, and when everything was so organized and simple thanks to the NU In program. They planned so many events and smoothed the logistics before I set off. There's so much to do here in Melbourne. I went to my first Australian rules football game with a few close friends to cheer on our home team, the Hawthorn Hawks, to victory. I visited the aquarium, seen the Healesville Animal Sanctuary, and gone on many other day trips with the international student advisors. And of course, I've enjoyed experimenting with food through family dinners with many friends. Through the program, I also took a trip to Phillips Island, where I got to pet so many wallabies and walk beaches, including one made from marble sand which squeaked when I walked on it. I was able to go on a trip along the famous Great Ocean Road. I'm also going to Sydney through Northeastern, which is great because we get to explore such a famous city at such a young age, which I will never forget. With so many events offered so frequently, it's impossible to miss out on really taking the opportunity to experience Australia. As a combined learning and service experience, much effort has been put in the program to give us each opportunity to provide help in our community, both locally and globally. While at Swinburne, my individual service is a non-profit organization known as FareShare. FareShare provides meals to the homeless in Australia, particularly Victoria, with little government funding, by recycling foods from grocers, markets, restaurants, and farmers which would otherwise contribute to landfills. My mission, along with 8 other NU students, was to brainstorm and organize fundraisers to donate $500. And the animals. Oh, the wildlife of an arid climate, so diverse compared to home. I've only ever seen koalas once, behind glass at a zoo. I never imagined I'd be giving one a kiss and a cuddle. I've become so accustomed to seeing wallabies here in Australia, I might be surprised not to see any on campus in Boston. This was the perfect site for a hopeful vet student looking to specialize in exotic animals. Over spring break, which was actually in September for us Aussies down under, one of my Northeastern friends and I decided to break out of the ordinary, if you will. And rather than traveling to Cairns or Brisbane or Sydney or having a staycation like other students, we flew to Darwin, way up in the tip of the Northern Territory. As the weather in Melbourne was just warming up but was still chilly, we were sweating in our tank tops with averages of 93 degrees and 45% humidity for the 4 days that we were visiting. It gave me just another glimpse into the life of an Australian. Although my time in Australia isn't over yet, the time has flown by. Before I left, 4 months didn't seem that long, but once I got here and the first week was over, I realized how long 4 months were going to be, and naturally became a little homesick. I wondered how I could do it, but thanks to weekly Skype dates, I've still been able to bug my parents while halfway across the world. so appreciative for my family and the little things like a printer nearby or access to an oven, a vacuum, a car. The impact this trip has had on my understanding of Australia, the US, and me as an individual are indescribable. I now have enough fantastic memories and stories to share to last a lifetime. And because of this trip, I will be going back home, a new, globally aware, self-reliant individual, ready to head to Northeastern in January.